collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager class Sentinel Prime from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro. Of course, this is Sentinel Prime as he appeared in Transformers 1. Got the logo right down there. He's looking a little small in his window. I feel like they could have moved him up a little bit, but not a big deal. The packaging for Studio Series, very, very similar to the Age of the Primes packaging. Had that kind of standardized, sleek black box instead of the kind of beige copper colored stripe that says Age of the Primes. We have a blue stripe here that says Studio Series. Still have the robot and vehicle mode pictures here on the front. And then you have a close-up of the robot mode there on the side. It looks like they did abandon the numbering system, though. I don't really see a number on this anywhere. So I guess they're done numbering the Studio Series, which is fine. We were getting up to 100-something or whatever, but I'm sure someone online will keep it going. On top here, we just have Transformers 1 logo and Sentinel Prime. Very basic. Nothing really going on down here on the bottom. You can kind of see the picture kind of wrapping around to this side since there's no mural for Studio Series. On Age of the Primes, this is where we would have that segment of the circle of the Prime statues, but they've opted to just kind of keep the picture wrapping around the side there, which is kind of cool. I like that. Over here on the back, you actually have like a still from the movie, which is kind of cool. You have product shots of the robot mode and vehicle mode. And then he also has like a super mode, I guess, for lack of a better term. It doesn't appear to be all that different. You just transform his legs a little differently. It's really all I can tell is different. I don't know, maybe you mount some guns on the shoulders. We'll check it out once we get inside, but it doesn't look too different. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Sentinel Prime out of the packaging. And real quick, the diorama inserts are gone. I guess when they switched to the new style of packaging, they got rid of them. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I never really utilized them anyway, and now I don't have to feel guilty about throwing them out. But just to point out that they are gone. Normally, I would show off the figure in that little diorama area, but not included anymore. So here is Sentinel Prime. I think for the most part, he looks pretty good. I've always loved his color scheme. You have the kind of, not quite gold, but maybe like a mustard color yellow with the blue and the silver / gray. Overall, I think it looks pretty good. Head sculpt, I think, is pretty good. I think they did a really nice job there. The eyes are painted nice. The silver for the face. All of that's really sharp. Because of the way the head works with the gimmick, and we'll get into the gimmick a little bit later on, but you can only swivel the head side to side. So there's no ball joint, there's nothing, there's no like front to back. I mean, you can kind of wiggle it a little bit, but it doesn't have a full ball joint or anything like that. Shoulders here are pretty cool. Kind of a weird little ball joint in the shoulders here. It almost feels a little flimsy. You can kind of see where it's connected there, like the stalk just goes into the shoulder there. And it kind of gives it like a general floppiness, which isn't the best, but it's not terrible. I mean, he's got all this wing kibble going on back here anyway, so you'd have to move that back. But you can kind of get it to go all the way around. And it gives it kind of a butterfly joint, so there's that. You can see the pin right there for the hinge, so you can get the arm out to the side down there with that. You also have a bicep swivel here. There's a mushroom peg for that, 90 degrees in the elbow. I don't think the wrists move at all. Yeah, I don't think so, unless I'm missing something. No, I don't think so. Waist swivel, you can see there. Hips can kick pretty decently forward. Pretty decently back if you can get the kibble out of the way. Not too much of a problem there. Nicely kick out to the side there. You got a thigh swivel kind of right above the knee. Then you have 90 degrees in the knee. And then you have really nice ankle tilt. I mean, 90-degree ankle tilt there. But it looks like half of his leg is coming off. So, but it works. And then technically you can move the foot as well because of the transformation. I will say, you know, he's pretty solid and I like him. But there are certain parts that feel a little cheap. Like especially like the toes feel like a little bit cheaper plastic. This like assembly here with the thruster feels like a cheaper plastic, so I don't know if that's just a cost-saving thing or what. But I thought that was interesting. And the other thing is, he stands pretty much perfectly fine, but if for some reason you wanted to give him more heels, you can kind of rock these back a little bit. And then he's really not going anywhere if you utilize those as like extra heels. So that's just an option. I don't think the directions tell you to do that. But whatever you like. If you like the cleaner look of having it tucked all the way in, if you want it back for heels, you can. I kind of like the heels back like that because then he's really solid. So again, up to you, but I guess I'll tuck them back in for now. So there you go. But yeah, overall, pretty solid. Like I said, like his design, like the colors. Pretty cool. He does have some accessories here, so you have these two little gray guns, just done in a simple gray plastic. You can pop them into his hands. Like so. And then he has this like pastel pink shield, which looks like it's done in some other color plastic and then painted pink, because you can kind of see like the matte finish of the paint. I can't really tell. I was trying to look inside there and try to see what color it was. I'm guessing probably this yellow, just judging by the sprues that they're probably making for this. But you can see there's a large slit right there that just pegs into this spot here on the arm. So pop it on there as a little arm shield, and you can do it on either arm. He's got the same peg on either side. So that looks kind of cool. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Before we get into the super mode, I forgot to really talk about the wings. You have a decent amount of play. You can see there's a hinge right there, so if you want to rock like a 45-degree angle, if you want to go all the way back, you can. You know, however you want to pose the wings. You have this bit of movement here. So you have a decent amount of movement you can do with the wings there. So I wanted to point that out as well. But anyway, getting into the super mode, I will admit it's more involved than I thought it was. So I'll give them that. You're going to take the two guns and you are going to peg them into the shield like so. You want to make sure these pieces are to the outside because otherwise they won't fit next to each other. So there you go. You are going to take these pieces here and flip out the thrusters and then point the feet straight down. So this is the part that I definitely knew about. But the little bits I did not know about, you have these panels here on the side of the legs that you can flip open and then extend out this little blue piece for, I guess, some little extra cannons, and then close it back up. So now you have these little cannons on the side of the leg, which is kind of cool. So pop that out, flip this open. And if this blue piece pops out, because it did for me, and there it goes, you just pop it right back in. It's just a very simple little, it's just wedged in there. So then you can close that back up. Then it wants you to take the arm and grab the forearm piece and slide it down over the fist to give him kind of like a Mega Man-esque Buster arm. Then you're going to flip up these little shoulder pieces and flip this cannon out and then kind of drop these back down. So now he has these little shoulder cannons. So we'll do that. And then it wants you to take the like pectoral things and just flip them up at like a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to open up this gold piece here in the center. And there's actually a face mask, which can be a little difficult to flip out, but you have to flip it out and then close up over the face there. And that's why he can't, like, he can only swivel around. It's because of that gimmick. But yeah, so there we go. There is his super mode. It's definitely more involved than I thought, so I'll give him credit. You know, these little guns on the side of the legs are kind of cool. The little shoulder-mounted cannons are kind of cool. The pectoral thing, I don't really know why that needs to move. The face mask is kind of neat. The Mega Man Buster arm, I'm not a huge fan of that, only because it makes the arm look so long and gangly. And then they have all the other weapons mounted here. So it's not bad. Honestly, like I said, I'll give him credit. It's more than I thought it was going to be. And it still stands, you know, in case you don't have a way to kind of suspend him in air. Kind of neat. Not too bad. Alright, so I've transformed him back into his normal mode so that we can go ahead and start with the transformation. You're going to come here to the wings, and you're going to take these wing pieces here, and you can see this joint right here with these two pins. This is going to like unhook, and then those are going to rotate down so that that kind of clips in there, and then this clips up here. So all it's doing is kind of moving the orientation of this piece of the wing. So you want to unhook it from this section and then bring it down, and then you just pop it there. So that is the first step. you are going to, I like to just kind of fold these back just to get them out of the way. You are now going to take both arms and slide the forearms down over the fists. So you have these kind of two weird, gangly Mega Buster arms as he's falling over on me. We're going to straighten out the legs. And then we are going to combine them together, just sandwich them together. So straighten out the legs if you have any ankle tilt engaged or anything like that. And just sandwich that together. Then you're going to take the head and spin it around 180 degrees, like so. And then that will allow you to take the nose cone section here and just bring this up over the head. And this will peg into place. If I can line it up correctly, there we go. Then you're going to grab a hold of this whole section that the wings are attached to. And this is going to kind of rock back. And you can see that it's on like a barbell system there. So there's a pin there and a pin in here. And what you want to do is kind of bring the legs back a little bit so that you can bring this down and fill in this space behind the thighs. But then you also have to kind of clip this into the legs. So you have to bring them out of the way, bring this down. I don't know why this is not cooperating. Come on. Clip into place. What are you doing to me? Okay, so there's two tabs right there that will tab in, and it's kind of hard to see it, but right there. So I just have to, I guess, bring this down first. There we go. Then straighten that out, and then you can click the legs into that. So there you go. Now we can bring these down, and you can see that there's a large tab right here. That's going to tab in, and it's kind of hard to see, but there is a little spot right in here where my nail is, right in there. So this is just going to come in and clip into that and then peg in nice and tight. So do the same over here and peg that in. And there you go. You can flip up these little wings. So you can see we have most of the jet finished at this point. What we're going to do now is take these arms. This whole section here will unpeg from the side and come down. So you can kind of see this section right here was kind of the clip. And that was pegged into these clips under there. Now what we're going to do is bring this all the way down. And these clips here on the side of the leg will clip into the very top section. So bring this all the way down, and it's really hard to see, but the torso used these clips. The side of the leg is going to use this clip up here. So you're going to bring this down, and then that's going to kind of sandwich in there. And then the giant, long, gangly arm is going to tab into this. So if we lift this up, you can see that there is a slot right there. And so this is going to tab into that. Like so. There we go. So that is, yeah, that's the jet fully transformed on that side. So let me zoom out here again, and we're going to do this one more time. So we're going to unhook this, not that, unhook this, bring this down, and then this is going to tab over here. And I don't know why sometimes these things just don't want to line up. There we go. And then the last step is to flip out the thrusters again, this time all the way, bring them back down, and then just close the foot like that. So flip out the thruster, and then just close the foot. And there you go. That is Sentinel Prime in jet mode. So, I mean, from this angle, it looks okay. You know, you have a huge kind of wing section here, which takes up 50% of the plane easy. I mean, it's basically like this wing section and then the nose cone, and that's pretty much it. But from this angle, it looks okay. From underneath, it looks quite terrible. I mean, you can see like the full arm and the torso and then the legs smushed together. I mean, not that the underside needs to look that great, but I wish there was at least a way you could fold down the shoulder pads or something so that they could not just stick out from the side like that. I really don't like the way they just jut out there. But you have some nice metallic blue paint here. You know, I think the gold for the cockpit area is nicely painted. We can bring in those guns from earlier. And the thing I think is really kind of neat, you can see how they're contoured. They peg in right here on the side, and when you peg them in, they kind of contour perfectly to that blue piece. And so it looks like they're like fully integrated, and I think that looks pretty sharp. So I'll give them credit for that. Pop that in, and then you have the big tab right there that you can put the shield on. So we'll line that up and pop that on. So, yeah, I mean, again, is it the worst thing I've ever seen? No, it's solid. You know, it looks good. It holds together well. I just feel like the way the wings are done, it just feels like one giant piece. Like this whole piece just feels like one giant thing was slapped on top, and then you just have the nose cone. So it's a little boring for that. And then, like I said, the underside's just kind of atrocious, but obviously not the most important part, so I get that. But also the transformation is just, I guess, more basic than I was anticipating for a Studio Series Voyager. But yeah, I mean, he's not the best. He's not the worst. It's a fine jet mode. I'm not really... Like, I've certainly seen worse. I'm not saying that this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Far from it. But I just don't like the way that this whole thing here just feels like one giant piece. Because it just makes it feel like there's not much going on with the vehicle mode. It's kind of this giant gold piece and then the nose cone, and that's kind of it. But I love the way the guns integrate. I think that's cool. You do get the pop of pink. The color breaks it up a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, that underside's a little rough. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. So I'll be honest, there's nothing wrong with Sentinel Prime. I mean, it's a pretty decent-sized Voyager. I think he looks good. Color palette's nice. You know, the paint applications are good. I love the head sculpt. Decent articulation. The super mode's kind of a neat aspect. It definitely has more to it than I was expecting. I thought it was really just reconfiguring the feet a little bit, but you have their shoulder cannons and the side leg cannons, the face mask, all that kind of stuff. The accessories are decent. So there's just nothing wrong with him. But he's just, I don't know, not as exciting as I thought it would be. I have to admit, I feel like if Hasbro could have gotten these out closer to when the movie was still relevant, they definitely would have hit harder, I think. So the movie is long since cooled off, and, you know, my connection to this character is almost forgotten, and I have to admit that plays into it a little bit. But also, just like I said, the transformation's a little basic. The underside of the jet is kind of goofy looking, and the fact that it just feels like one giant wing square, and then the cockpit, it's, again, nothing terrible. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I'm not that excited. I have had the Prime Changer version of this guy for quite some time, and that was a decent toy, and that was 10 to 15 bucks. So did I need this 25, 35, whatever these cost now version of this guy? Probably not. And if he didn't come out at the same time as all the Age of the Prime stuff I'm finding at Walmart, I may have skipped him. He kind of got thrown into that I'm finding so many new Transformers hype that he kind of just came along for the ride as I was buying other characters that I was way more excited about. So if he had come out, you know, a month from now by himself, would I have still bothered? Maybe not. If he had come out very close to when the movie happened, I think I would have absolutely gotten it and probably had a lot of fun and probably not have bothered with the Prime Changer version. But since I've had the Prime Changer version for at least 6 months now, it feels like, I don't know. Like I said, was this needed? I don't know. I feel like at this point, there's only like 5 characters in the Studio Series for this movie, and so I already had 2 of them, and I knew I wanted to get Alita 1 because there's no other version of her. They never did a Prime Changer version of her. So I'm like, do I just get Bumblebee to complete the 4? And if I'm getting Bumblebee, do I just get Sentinel Prime because they're only making 5 Studio Series? So he kind of got lumped in from a completionist standpoint. But again, there's nothing wrong with them. There's just nothing... I would say the best thing this has going for it is the super mode. If you're a big fan of the super mode, if you love the super mode, then I say get this guy, pose him in super mode, and you'll be happy. And the super mode is kind of neat. If you don't care about the super mode, you could probably just stick to the Prime Changer version of this guy and be fine. I don't think he was needed unless you love that super mode. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I being too hard on him? Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him. just he's coming out in a time when I'm getting so many more other exciting Transformers that he feels a little underwhelming. And it might not necessarily be his fault. It might just be his timing is off. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.